The British are coming! The British are coming! Light the lamps! One if I land, two if I see. Hey, Paul Revere? What are you doing outside the American Revolution? Plus, how are the British going to get here by land? We're on an island. Oh, I suppose you're right. Wait, what's that sound? What? Let me tell you, being a soldier during World War II was great. No constant bombings, no fear of being captured by the Nazis, and friendly people everywhere. Small caveat, you had to be a British Royal Marine stationed in Iceland, so I guess it was great for, 746 people? The year is 1940, and the Nazis have just taken over Denmark. As Iceland was in a union with Denmark, this gave the UK headaches. The possibility of being sandwiched between two hostile powers isn't very fun. Poor Britain. You've got some planning to do. Of course, Britain doesn't want to just go around terrorizing random countries. They have rights. And they're European, and filled with civilized white people. It's not like it's India or China or South Africa or someplace like that. So, Britain sent a letter first, asking for cooperation. Iceland refused. Well, with that, it's time to invade, I guess. Let's check on the British plans. Alright, men, here's the strategy. Send a couple hundred Marines on some ships to Iceland and hope they give up. Sounds good. Wait, did we forget to train these guys? Don't worry, Sturgis. You've got 3 days on the boat ride there. That's plenty of time. Good luck. And so, the invasion force set off, with 1 lieutenant general and 4 boatloads of fresh-off-the-press soldiers, not knowing what to expect or where they were going. Hopefully they weren't expecting a joyride, because a whole bunch of them are looking a bit green. But they'll be fine. It's not like any of them are going to die, right? Oh, never mind. Looks like one of the recruits decided they didn't want to live anymore. You know your hastily planned evasion isn't going right when your espionage alerts your enemy. On the morning of the arrival, the British force sent out a reconnaissance plane. But you know, he's just going to be doing a bit of spying. That doesn't make too much noise. Whoops. But don't worry, Britain. There's still nothing to fear. Iceland barely has a military. I'm sure there won't be any massive resistance, right? No, that wasn't an ironic rhetorical question. There actually wasn't. The British fleet literally just sailed up and asked the policemen to move the crowd away so as not to disturb the soldiers. And the Icelandic army? It didn't exist. It was just a bunch of police officers watching and waiting. Anyways, the British got up and started setting themselves up, with no one in the streets, or the government, questioning it. The first 3 weeks of the operation were quite uneventful. The most backlash the soldiers faced was a guy stuffing his cigarette up a rifle. Oh, and a German diplomat burning a bunch of state secrets. Besides that, they just went around claiming a bunch of buildings. The theater? Ours. The airport? Ours. The schools? Ours. Here's some rent. Thanks for letting us claim it. Of course, the Icelandic government issued some protests about their sovereignty, or something like that. But what can you do when your military is about as powerful as a bunch of toddlers with squirt guns? And the citizens? They were mostly worried about how all the hot British men with W Riz would take all the women. At one point, the soldiers outnumbered the Icelandic guys, and the soldiers began picking up some Icelandic brides. Understandably, the Icelanders were angry, even going so far as to make a 1984 police state to keep track of what the women were doing and sentencing some of them to hard labor or even re-education. This all has a name, by the way, which I can't pronounce. It translates to the situation, though, for all the supposed forced celibacy the soldiers put the Icelandic men through. First world problems, am I right? Anyways, for the next couple years, the whole operation went pretty smoothly. The soldiers kind of just hung around and trained, and when they got bored, they handed the keys to the Americans, who maintained a military presence until 2006. Of course, the Germans didn't just sit around. Well, kind of. They made some plans to attack, but abandoned them when they realized that maintaining a presence on Iceland would be too expensive. And so, the war ended with Iceland enjoying a nice, happy time away from the conflict, but surrounded by thousands of soldiers ready to attack as soon as they even smelled a whiff of Nazism. Iceland. Overall, one of the better places to be stationed during a conflict. See you next time, whenever that is.